Okay, guys, you have your paper in front of you here. I want you to fold it in half. All right, I want you to fold it in half this way as well. And then I want you to fold it in half one more time. So again, it was like this, then in half, another half. So you're going to have 8 boxes on the front side. Go ahead and draw your lines. You're going to turn this into me. Make sure you know what you're doing. As you work on this, I want to see your name on the side. Class. And today should be the 23rd. Okay? Number 1. First problem I'm going to give you. And I want you to take your time with this because some of these might be a little confusing or more confusing than others, but I'm going to be quizzing you throughout this Edpuzzle. All right, so first step, go ahead and handle distributed property. Second step, make sure you're able to verbalize or write out what you're doing each step. Okay, then your last step. So x is going to equal 0. Okay, all we did here was distributed property. Now I want to mix in some with combining like terms as well, the ones we went over yesterday. All right, so number 2. 5x plus 4 plus 3x equals, let's say, 36. All right, your first step is to look at both sides of the equation, and then eventually once you look at both sides, you should be able to see something. You should notice those two are x's. This is just a number. This is just a constant. You can combine those together and get 8x plus 4 equals 36. Then from there, subtract 4 equals 32. Last step, 8 into 32, 4 times. All right? Okay, now that we did one with distributed property, one with just combining like terms, let's level it up into both. Now I'm going to zoom in on this one. First step is to, then let's go ahead and do this. So first step would have been distributed property. Go ahead and handle that. Okay. So we did distributed property and we just brought down this term. Now I look over here. Is there anything that I need to combine like terms that they have the same? If I look at this, I notice those two have an x with it. This one doesn't have an x, so I got to combine those terms. 50 minus 30, 20x plus 20 equals 60. Subtract 20, divide 20, x equals 2. You better have all this work shown. I don't want you giving me any, you're going to turn this paper and I don't want any of it done without the work shown. All right. Number 4, I'm going to mess with you slightly and just go over a simple concept. When you have something like this, where it's like, maybe let's just say it's 5 minus x equals 10. And what would you do on this one? You need to get the x eventually isolated, right? But that's not just an x, that's a positive x, right? That's a positive 1x. If I look at this, that's a negative x or a negative 1x. So when I look at that, I don't like it. So first step is to get rid of the 5. Then I have negative 1x equals 5. Well, how do I get rid of a -1? I got to divide it out. If I divide the -1 out, then I'm good to go. And all that means is going to be changing the sign over here, and x is going to equal -5. And let's see if that makes sense. If I was to plug in -5 here, -5 times -1, negative times negative does equal +5. And that's why it works. Kind of confusing. All right? But make sure you are not allowed to leave a negative x. All right, now I'm going to give you a problem that has one with what we've been doing. All right? Let's see here. Minus x plus 4 equals 10. First step to solve this, you got to distribute. All right, once you've done that, like terms, do you see your like terms? -1x plus 12 equals 10. Then what? Subtract 12 to both sides. -1x equals -2. Now, interesting. I have a -1x again. I made it a -1 just to kind of help you see it. Or -x, same thing. You got to divide -1 to both sides. And once you do that, x equals +2. Okay? All right, number 6. I'm going to say 100 equals -5 times 2x minus 3 plus 5. All right, let's see what you're going to do. First step, second step. Check your work. Now I look at this side. Again, you can only combine like terms on the same side of an equal sign. You can't combine like 100 with 15. They're on different sides. But you can combine 15 and 5. So I have -10x plus 20. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my 20, move it over. If 80 equals -10x, and x equals -8. All right, let's do one more. Best you can. So I'll make that -500 equals and let's see how you can handle this. Do the best on your own. Oops. -2. Now this one's going to get a little interesting when we do this one. Oops, why did I put 120? 4 times 3 is just 12. Hopefully you caught that. Then if I look at like terms, 12 and -2 equals +10. All right. Now subtract 10 to both sides. That becomes -510 and 40x. And if I was to do this math, I got to figure out this. I'm going to go 40 divided into 510. And this is a little interesting, but your final answer, you can leave it like that. 510 over 40, and it's going to stay negative. And this is a confusing one, but I wanted to do one like this, so it's kind of bizarre. And if you didn't realize this, when you have these zeros on top of each other to reduce, you can cancel them out. So really it's -51 over 4. Kind of crazy, but you're allowed to cancel those zeros out when they're on top of each other because you're just basically taking tens out of both of those. All right, hopefully this was helpful for you. Go ahead and do the exit ticket for me and for Cleveland as well. I think she has an assignment in Google Classroom. All right, best of luck to you guys.